الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة العالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. You guys ready to live? You know where we are? Anybody knows where we are? Where are we?
It's the Hijjah is approaching.
Where? Where are we?
Where are we?
Where are we now?
Between Zandis and Allah.
Yeah, okay. Where are we now? You know where we are now? In Dunya, okay. He must be an accountant. You know why? They say accountant gives accurate information, but unfortunately useless. Where are we now, guys? You don't know where we are? What is this place? Al-Madinah! Wow! We don't have to go that far. We are in Medina. Now, if we are in Medina, who are we now? Who are we? Who are we?
Ansari.
Ansari, who are we? Who are we? Who are we? We are the messengers of the messengers. We are really the messenger of the messengers. And you know something? Prophet Muhammad ﷺ passed away. And if anybody has a delusion and illusion about that, just read the Quran. In his lifetime, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, إِنَّكَ مَيِّتٌ وَإِنَّهُمْ مَيِّتُونَ. You are going to die and they all going to die. And he is not coming back in this life. And he's going to come back in the hereafter. And we hope and pray that we meet him at the Sirat al-Mustaqim. And we hope and pray that we will live with him in Firdaus al-A'la. But he is dead. Dead, dead, dead. But before he died, he said something to me and to every one of us. And he said, I have left among you two things. If you hold fast to them, you will never go astray. And he also have told them and me and you another thing. He says, بَلَّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةٍ. Go and tell people about him, even if it's one verse. Now, this means it's a fard ayn. Every one of us has to do that. It's not that would be one in a million go around and tell something about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ or something about Islam. It is my duty, your duty, and everybody's duty. As a matter of fact, the first thing for a Muslim to become a Muslim, what is the first thing? What's the first thing to become a Muslim? Shahada. What is the Shahada? La ilaha illallah and Muhammad Rasulullah. And when I say the Shahada means what? I believe in only one God, and Muhammad is his prophet. And if I believe in his prophet, this means I believe in him as what? لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرَ. You have the best of examples in Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. For what? If you really hope and pray to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to be honored on the day of judgment. Assalamu alaikum. كيف حالك؟
الحمد لله. كيف
بارك الله فيك.
تمام.
منور فيك.
الله يخليك، منورة بوجودك يا أخي.
Yeah, take his picture. Take his picture. I want to record him that he was here. If I'm gonna go down, you guys gonna go down with me. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, He is your best example. And if we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, means I believe in one God, I believe in the Quran, and the one who brought the Quran is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if I believe in Muhammad as a second part of the Shahada sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then I have to believe that he's my example and he's my role model, and I have to live exactly like him. And I have to act exactly like him. And I have to walk in his footsteps exactly like he did, and exactly like the other Sahaba have done. So believe it or not, anyone who said Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah have no choice but to be the messenger of the messenger. We have no choice. Unfortunately, in the last many hundred years, they have made Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to be sort of out of reach, and the Sahaba al-Kiram also out of reach, and becoming just figure of speech rather than a model to follow. And not only that, they have put for us Maulanas, sheikhs and imams and what have you. So what happened is, they are the only one who can read Quran, they are the only one who can give khutbah, they are the only one who can do things, and the rest of us will be like this. You know what this is? What's this? Hmm?
For Zadonia.
No. This is what?
Sure.
What's this?
I don't know.
Man, you know something? When I came here today, I found that you guys have all the games in the world. You have the Twisters, you have the Monopoly, you have the Clue. So if we play a game and I'm doing like this, what does it mean? What does it mean if I'm doing like this?
Audience.
Hmm?
Audience.
Audience, yes. Audience. And usually it's in a tennis match. Yeah. Yeah. Is that what we do? The other day I was driving to the masjid with somebody, and they had somebody else with us in the car, and he's saying, "We won the game." I said, "When?" He said, "Just now." I said, "You guys are sitting in my car. You haven't played a thing." "So what game did you won?" He said, "Our team." I said, "Your team you play, you are taken off from the team today? Are you broken? Are you something? Are you taking a vacation?" No. I said, "Are you in a team?" "No." "You have any position in the team?" "No." "Are you a water boy?" "No." "Are you even carry anything?" "No." "Who are you then when you say we won?" He said, "We are fans of the game. We are fans of the team." And that's exactly what have made us to be fans. We are fans. They bring a qari. Why? Because his voice is beautiful. And everybody will be sitting like this. And he says, "You're going to go to hellfire." "Allah, Allah, Allah, Allah. Did you hear what he said?" I said, "Did you hear what he said?" He said, "His voice." I said, "No." He said, "You're going to go to hell. Are you happy about that?" He said, "You're going to go to hell. Are you happy about that?" But that's what it is. The other day, somebody said, "I'm going to hafla," a party. And what is this party? Is the alim coming to California. This has become a party. Why? Because we have taken upon ourselves, we're not going to do anything. We're going to go to school. We're going to be doctors. We're going to be engineers. We're going to be ITs. We're going to be accountants. We're going to be businessmen. And we're going to have cars. We're going to have wives. We're going to have husbands. We're going to have life. And that's about it. And for somebody to take care of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's job, it's going to be the imam. We're going to hire him. And as a matter of fact, when you hire an imam, you know what happens is, if he says anything wrong about us, we fire him. And that's why Muslim countries have adopted the separation between state and masjid. Why? Because the imam, I'm going to hire him, and if he says anything wrong, if he bothers me, if he tells me that I'm wrong or right or whatever, I'm going to fire him. And if I want to do something and he doesn't agree to do it for me, I'm going to get somebody else who's going to do it for me. And what that means that we all have grown up to be audience, to be fans, to sit and watch. The imam said a joke, we laugh. He says something make us cry, we cry. And we go home like we watch the movie and life like it was before. Now, what happened is, when the Muslims taking it upon themselves to be the messenger of the messengers, everything worked fine for them and for everybody around the world. And when they decided to be audience, spectators, and not to be active, what happened? Others became active and took over the world and made everybody suffer, including the Muslims. Including the Muslims. And there is a book, you remember the book I told you, some of you I told you about, everybody should read that book, by Maulana Abul Hassan Nadawi. The Arabic, the English title is Islam and the West. but it was originally written in Arabic. And Maulana Abu Hassan Nadwi is from India. And the literal translation of the Arabic title is, "What have the world lost by the decline of Muslims?" So he talks about prehistoric time and what other religions have provided or not provided, what Islam have provided, how it lifted all humanity all the way up to the highest level humanity ever been, and then what happened to the Muslims when they decided they want to have the dunya and not to be the messenger of the messengers. Then everything fell down, and what happened is, when it falls down, the top comes first, and that we were on the top, so we are on the bottom now. So here's the guys, we have no choice except to be the messenger of the messengers. Like it or not, we are by default. Anybody who says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, have declared that he or she is the messenger of the messenger. Now today is more than any time else that Muslims have to stand up and become the messenger of the messenger. Now, to be the messenger of the messenger, now you have to be prepared to be the messenger. Now you have to understand what the message is. And you have to understand who was the messenger, and to understand how the messenger delivered the message. And this is really what we want to talk about it from now till maybe whenever, inshallah. As a matter of fact, we would like to have some workshops that everybody, every group will take a portion of the life of the Prophet, a portion of the message, a portion of the character, a portion of the way to deliver the message. And we will work it out to the point that we will come up with a working plan using today's technology, doing exactly what the Rasul ﷺ have done 1400 years ago, today. Because when we look at ourselves, can you remember, can you imagine, can you visualize the trip that the Rasul ﷺ have taken from Mecca to Taif? Anybody knows where Taif is and how high Taif is above sea level? And he walked all the way from Mecca to Taif to give the message. Well, because we have been trained in a certain way, oh, because he's the messenger. He's the messenger. Oh, when we talk about Umar ibn Khattab, how bad he was before Islam and how he changed after Islam. Oh, he's Umar ibn Khattab, he's al-Faruq. But this is how they made us think this way. But if you look at any one of us, either born Muslim or accepted Islam for years, did any one of us, even when we were not Muslims, try to kill Prophet Muhammad ﷺ? No. Anybody tried, even before they became a Muslim, tried to kill Muslims? No. Umar ibn Khattab, he wanted to kill Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He wanted to kill Muslims. He hated Muslims. He even hit his wife, his sister, and make her bleed before he became a Muslim. So this means we are way ahead of any of the Sahaba al-Kiram before they became Muslims. We have more resources today than all of them put together at any one time. For them to do da'wah, they have to go and talk to one-on-one basis. For us, with a click of a mouse, we can send a message to what? Zillions of people around the world. Al-Bukhari, radiallahu anhu, he has to travel what? Hundreds of miles to find one hadith. What we have to do is Google in one hadith. Google. Jazallah khair, Sheikh Google, radiallahu anhu. You can get all the hadiths in the world in no time. You can get all the verses in no time. You can get all the history of Muslims in no time. By every and anyone who have written Islamic history or talk about Quran or talk about hadith or talk about Sharia. But the difference between us and them is quite a difference. There's another book which is one chapter in that book is called The Unique Quranic Generation by Said Qutb rahmatullah alayhi. In the Milestone, the book Milestone. He said, never happened in one time, in one place, there was so many good people as it happened in the time of Medina with the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's always through history there is good people. But they are scattered all over the world. They are not in one place with the same quality at the same time. And what makes them unique than other people is few things. When they accepted Islam, they took it into heart and applied and went and told everybody about it. When they took Islam into heart, they kicked and cleansed their heart from everything out. And this is one thing maybe we should start with. And this is really what the problem with all Muslims are. Never happened. I didn't happen to me when I was 15 or 12 or 13. My father got me and said, hey Faisal, sit down here. Now you reach puberty age. Now you are accountable for your action. Now from now on you have to really make up your mind. And you want to accept Islam as your way of life or not. And if you do, here is what you have to do. And if you don't, here's what's going to happen to you. Now, everybody knows Ayat al-Kursi, right? Ayat al-Kursi is the most impressive description of God Almighty, subhanahu wa ta'ala. It ends with that His throne, وَسِعَ كُرْسِيُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. His throne is beyond and bigger than anything, including heavens and skies and earth. And it starts by saying that He is the owner of the earth and heavens. And He does not take a nap or even wink. And with all this vast kingdom, He doesn't need anybody to help Him to protect it. And He knows everything and anything about any of us. And nobody will get to do anything without His permission. You think after this description, God will say, well, now if you guys are not going to believe in me, I'm going to kill you. Guys, if you're not going to follow me, follow the Quran and follow my Prophet, I'm going to send you to hell. You know what He said after that? You know what is after Ayat al-Kursi? La ikraha fi din. I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to force you to be Muslims. Why? La ikraha fi din. Why? Because it's so obvious. قَدْ تَبَيَّنَ الرُّشْدُ مِنَ الْغَيِّ. It is so clear to even anybody with an IQ of minus 15 to know that there is haqq, there is Allah, there is this, there is this, there is that. I just tell you, about maybe, what, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I was visiting somebody who was a little bit older than me at that time, and still at this time. His uncle was visiting him. His uncle was 60 years old at that time. Born and raised in a Muslim Arabic-speaking country. And he has a son from a British lady that he married. And that son at that time was 21 or 22 years old. That son was practically since birth, he was mentally challenged. We were sitting there in their house, and it's Zohar time. So I asked my friend, can we get ready to pray Zohar? Yes. So everybody started going to make wudu. So that kid came. I said, what are you guys doing? We said we're going to pray. He said, can I pray with you? I said, yeah. So I took him to the bathroom. I showed him how to do wudu. And his father is sitting there with his shorts. It was a summertime. And we prayed Zohar. I said, just stand next to me, do whatever we do. His father didn't come to pray. And his mother, of course, didn't pray. She was not a Muslim. I don't know if she's a Muslim now or not. Now, came Asr time. We start getting ready for our Asr time, and he said, what are you guys going to do? We said, we're going to pray. Can I pray with you? Yes. Took him and got him make wudu again. And guess what he did? I want anybody to tell me, what do you think he did? Mentally challenged person. What do you think he did? Anybody has a clue?
Aspirated to join. Has aspirated to join.
His what?
Aspirated to join.
Yeah! He went and grabbed his father and says, you have to pray! Can you imagine? He asked his father, you have to pray. So the father looked at us, do really I have to pray? And his nephew He started to tell him that he has to wear long pants. And I said, just leave him. Just let him pray. Just come. Just come. So, so the guy came and he's going to stand in line with us. What do you think his son told him? Yes. He said, are you going to pray like this without wudu? And he grabbed him and took him to the bathroom. It's first time in his life, 21 or 22 years old. Never prayed in his life. His father never prayed in front of him. But as soon as we scratch the surface of his heart, while he's mentally challenged, he became a da'i. He became a da'i. He became a messenger of the messenger. Grabbed his dad and he said, yeah, you have to wash your face. You have to wash behind your back, behind your neck, and you have to take your shoes off. It's only one time he prayed. He didn't pray too many times. Only one time. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لِإِكْرَاهِ فِي الدِّينِ. Because it's so clear and so obvious. What's halal and haram is so clear and obvious. You don't want anybody to steal from you, so don't steal from anybody. You want people to treat you well, then you have to treat people well. It's so obvious, so clear. It doesn't take a genius to figure it out. You don't want people to beat you up, don't beat up people. You don't want people to cheat you, don't cheat people. You don't want people to lie to you, don't lie to them. You don't want to have people to abuse you, don't abuse them. That's just as simple as that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, with me, you have to do one thing before you come to me. What is the shahada? What is the shahada? Ashhadu an la first. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. I have to deny every God and every divinity, everything in the world before I accept Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as my God. And that's the problem we do. Anybody say shahada? Yeah, shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. First, we have to deny every and anything. Can you imagine if in this bottle, one drop of colored drink, what's going to be the color of this water? It's going to be clear like this? No. Anybody has a sticker for their car recently or have put a sticker or anything recently? You know when you put the sticker of anything, any adhesive, what do you say to you? The instructions is what? Clean the surface. Make sure there is no dirt. There is no oily surface before you apply the adhesive. You know the sticker on the car when you buy a brand new car? Why it lasts for a long time? And it takes forever to peel it off? Because it was put on a very, very, very clean surface. That's why it sticks. And it takes a razor blade to scrape it off. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, La ilaha first. Take everything, cleanse your heart, take it, throw it away, and then put me in. But we don't. We want to be Muslims, but we don't mind to be like the non-Muslims. We want to be Muslims, but want to do the thing that we did it when we were not Muslims. We want to be Muslims, but we have no problem doing riba. We want to be Muslims, but there is nothing wrong drinking a little bit. We want to be Muslims, but we want to have a boyfriend and girlfriend. We want to be Muslims, but we don't mind to go gambling. We want to be Muslims, but we can take a puff of this or take a sniff of that. Why? Because nobody have explained it to us that before you assume, before you utter the word, deny everything first. And since we are in Medina, when the people of Medina heard from the Jews that there's going to be a prophet coming, and the Jews always bragged about the coming of the new prophet, and they are the one who's going to believe in him, and they are the one who's going to follow him, and then will attack the pagans and kill them and cut them in pieces. And as soon as the people of Medina heard about the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they flocked to believe in him. And that's why I call the Jews stupid idiots, because they keep telling everybody this. Do you think they will be the first one when that prophet comes? They run right to take him? No. So they went, the people of Medina, they said, hey, we want to be Muslims. What should we do? What should we say? He said, well, you have to utter the Shahada. What is the shahada? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. What's in it for us? While you do that, you're going to go to Jannah. Hey, easy, brother. Give me kalima. I'll give kalima. I'll give shahada. His uncle Al-Abbas said, wait a minute, guys. Before you put your hand in his hand, do you know what it means to say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah? Oh yeah, we're going to say the kalima. No. As soon as you say the kalima, the whole world is going to come down on you like a ton of bricks. The whole world will fight you tooth and nail. Are you willing and prepared to defend him and this deen from whatever you defend, your own honor, yourself, your property, and your wealth? Are you willing to do that? So they thought about it. They said, yes, we are willing. They said, now you can put your hands in his hand and give kalima. This is what I call it, the pledge card. You know, in every fundraisers, give me a pledge, give me a pledge. Everybody, oh yeah, give me 5,000, 10,000, 1,000, 500, pledge card. Then you call him on the phone, oh, he's not here. He called him, he said, do you remember? Oh, I don't remember, brother. You know, it was Ramadan, you know how things are. No, brother, you gave, you told us you're going to give us 5,000 $5,000. I did. Oh, inshallah, inshallah. What is, inshallah bukra ma'alish. You know what inshallah bukra ma'alish? It's the IBM. You guys in the IBM country here, right? IBM. Inshallah bukra ma'alish. Which inshallah, bukra tomorrow ma'alish. Hey, when you face him, said, so what's the big deal? Kill me, yeah? And that's why when Ghazwat Badr came, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam kept asking people, give me an advice, give me an advice, give me an advice, give me an advice. And everybody stand up and give him advice. And the people in Medina, they said, you mean you want our advice? Yes, I want your advice. They said, we're not going to do and say what the Jews said and did to Musa alayhi salam. They told him, you go and fight with your God, and we'll wait here when you come back. They said, you go and fight, we're going to be right behind you. And if you cross a sea, we're going to be right behind you. And you told him, today your eyes is going to see what is going to be pleased with us. And indeed, no wonder Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ رِجَالٍ. From among the believers there are men. صَدَقُوا مَا عَادُ اللَّهَ عَلَيْهِ. They were truthful on what they have given their kalima and their shahada. مِنْهُمْ مَنْ قَضَى نَحْبَهُ. Some have given their life. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَنْتَظِرُ. And some are waiting. وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. They didn't change their mind. So this is what it is. When we utter the word, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, I'm automatically the messenger of the messenger. I'm automatically the defender of Islam. I'm automatically the only one that's going to stand up to protect Islam and Muslims and humanity at large. Humanity at large. Why? Because the mission that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to his prophet was what? وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. You have not been sent except to be mercy to mankind. Mercy means what? If you are merciful to somebody, you don't want them to be punished. You don't want them to suffer. You want them to be the best. You want them to have the best. And that's why his mission was to tell people about Allah. And that's what you see the Quran, most of the Quran, introducing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to them. Who created the skies and earth? Allah. Who make the water fall down as rain? Allah. Who make the bird fly? Who make the vegetation grow? Who makes the mountains stand in place? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, I did this. If you can find somebody else who did it, all power to you. Now, the other thing is, he told him about what Allah can do as far as punishment and reward. And he told him, there is a Jannah. I want everyone to go to Jannah. Everyone to go to Jannah. So this is the mercy. Is the mercy to tell him who's Allah, why he created them, and what is the mission of human beings on this earth, and what is the end result, and what we have to do in this dunya to reach that end, to be in Jannah. And this is what mercy. And that's what Rasul Sallallahu did. He went to everybody and told them about Allah. Now, the one thing that he had, and we hope we can create and develop among ourselves, he had a nickname. What was his nickname? What was Rasul Sallallahu nickname? As-Sadiq al-Amin. As-Sadiq al-Amin. As-Sadiq al-Amin. As-Sadiq al-Amin. Can you imagine with him being a Sadiq al-Amin, that when they were trying to kill him, they were trusting him with their valuables. And when he moved to Medina, how many people he had with him? Less than 100. After 13 years. Can you imagine if he was not a Sadiq al-Amin? What would happen? What would happen if he was not a Sadiq al-Amin? That's why we have to think about ourselves. If I'm going to be the messenger of the messenger, I have to be the Sadiq al-Amin. And everybody is going to tell me that I am the Sadiq al-Amin. Everybody is going to believe. I don't even have to say, I don't have to tell anybody. But by people dealing with me, but talking to people, and people asking me, and whatever, they're going to find out that I'm a Sadiq al-Amin. Because Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't go and put a knife. You still guys have business cards here? Medina president, MSA president. How many MSA presidents? They still keep their cards, even they have been a president 100 years ago. And a vice president, and doorkeeper, vice president, and vice president for whatever, and water or whatever, and clean, and then everybody who even picks up something in Medina Center here, he makes a business card and put, right? Are you guys still do that? But the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't have a business card, did he? He didn't go on with a business card and said, hey, I'm a Sadiq al-Amin, I'm a Sadiq al-Amin. Look here, you see, Sadiq al-Amin. It's in red, it's Sadiq al-Amin. I'm Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Sadiq al-Amin, Sadiq al-Amin. He didn't say that, but everybody know. Everybody know. And that's why a believer, when he walks any place, he reminds everybody with God. He reminds everybody with God. Why? His face or her face, his behavior, his acting, whatever. And that's what we really have to have. That's what we have to have. And you know, that's what the crooks of the world are afraid of. They're afraid of people who are honest. They're afraid of people who are kind. They are afraid of people who are not abusing each other. Because if people are this way, what's going to happen to the crooks of the world? They're going to go in their cracks, or they become believers. Because that's what happened in the time of Rasulullah. All the crooks, either they wised up and became believers, or they start fighting the Muslimin, and we know their ends. And that's why, when Abdul Abbas, of the Prophet uncle, he said, the whole world is going to come down on you. Every corrupted politician is going to come down on anybody who says the haqq, regardless if a Muslim or non-Muslim. Because check in Surah Al-Imran, not only يقتلون النبيين, kill the prophets and messengers, no, ويقتلون الذين يأمرون بالقسط من الناس. يقتلون الذين يأمرون بالقسط من الناس. Any human being who tells the truth, who tells what's right and what's wrong, who stands on the haqq side, everybody else is going to be their enemies. And that's why, to be the messenger of the messenger, you have to be prepared. Physically, mentally, and spiritually. Physically, mentally, and spiritually. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to do what before he became a prophet? He used to go and spend time in Ghar Hara. In Ghar Hara. What do we spend time with other than Monopoly? Anybody now with the Wii? Now? You guys are good with the Wii? Are you guys good with the Wii? Because you know, even the Wii, they said, I won! I said, what do you want? It's a Wii! It's not even a real game. But that's what we are coming down to, is we want a Wii game. And maybe if that's the case, God will give us a virtual Jannah. Give us everybody glasses. You put it on, okay, when you do well, it's going to turn out Jannah. And if you do bad, it's going to turn off Jannah and turn on Jahannam. But okay, that's what we're coming down to. And that's why we have to be prepared physically, mentally, and spiritually. Physically, because we're going to be abused. Physically, we're going to be abused. It's always throughout history. You know, when you read Surah Ghafir, about what Pharaoh said about Musa. Pharaoh said, Da'uni aqtul Musa. Let me kill Musa. Why? He's a terrorist. Why? He's going to change your way of life. Anybody remember who said that in the last few years?
Bush.
It's the same words. The same words, no change. Because every time was Musa alayhi salam a terrorist? Was he going to change their good way of life? Or was he going to give them Jannah? Was he going to spoil everything for them? No. Are you guys going to spoil everything in America? No. Why are you in America? Because you like freedom, you like democracy, you like opportunities, you like. So you're not going to come here and change that to a worse thing. But it has to be moral. Everything has to be morally accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything has to be morally accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you know, people don't realize it is for our own protection. As I said in the beginning, if I don't want people to steal from me, I shouldn't steal from anybody. So when I don't steal, I'm protecting myself. Because how much one person can steal from a city like Minneapolis? If everybody went to sleep with anesthesia, drugged, and left their doors open, okay, and put light arrows where the valuables are, and one of us with the fastest car there is, or with helicopter, how much can you steal overnight?
A lot.
How much? Can you steal everything? No. But what happened when everybody in Minneapolis, in 2 minutes, attack your house? They can take everything that you have and you don't have. And you think of having. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He says, don't steal, He's protecting me. When don't lie, He's protecting me. Don't cheat, He's protecting me. I'm the first one to be protected before anybody else. Because if everybody else is not going to protect, no wonder you remember the hadith when the young man came to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said, allow me to commit adultery. He said, okay. Of course, all the Sahaba want to kill him, right? But this is not the way Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam did business. He said, sit down. You have a mother? Yes. You like people do to that to your mother? Of course not. He said, you know, so other people, they have mothers and they don't want people to mess around with their mothers. You have a sister? Yes. Do you want people to do that with your sister? Of course not. He said, the same thing. People have sisters and they don't want people to mess around with their sisters. And he kept going on and on and on about every female member of his family. And the young man, he says, when I came to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was nothing more beloved to me than to commit adultery. And when I left him, there was nothing more despicable in my heart than to commit adultery. I'm bringing this example, why? Because regardless how bad I can be, I cannot impact the community around me as much as the community can impact me. And now we are in that situation that regardless how good we are, the community around us, in the United States and worldwide, as a matter of fact, even in Muslim countries, need to be cleaned, need to be changed. Need to be cleaned and need to be changed. Now, everyone is going to say, well, where is he leading to? You think I'm going to change the world? Yes. We're going to change the world. And how are we going to change the world? How do you think we're going to change the world? Anybody knows how we're going to change the world?
Starting with ourselves.
Starting with ourselves. Because believe it or not, the only one I can change, really fully change, is myself. With the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, since we're talking about Sayyidina Musa and Fir'aun, can you imagine if any one of you guys get a phone call? He said, hey, Ahmed, we want to go to the White House and tell this guy to straighten up his act. He killed so many people, and it's time for him to know what's right and what's wrong. What's your name, brother? Oh, I just picked up Ahmed because my grandson is Ahmed. So what happened if you got this phone call? You have been selected to lead the mission, to go to the White House and tell them it's enough is enough. Let everybody in Guantanamo leave in peace. And if anyone has committed a crime, will take the due course of the law. And everyone here is Ahmed. What are you going to do? Because this is exactly what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Musa alayhi salam. اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Go to Pharaoh. He said he's God Almighty. Isn't that what Bush said? He gets message from God. He gets message from God. God told him go to Iraq. God told him go to Afghanistan. And can you imagine if I ask you to do that? If you are asked to do the job, you get a dream in the night. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ came to you in the dream. I said, Ahmad, enough is enough. You have been the chosen one. What are you going to say? I have exams tomorrow. What am I going to do? I don't have enough money, and my car is broken. It's not going to take me all the way to Washington, D.C. And Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, he could have said the same thing. You know, when he got the message, he was in Sinai. It's a long way, man. There was no air-conditioned buses as they have now. There was no trains, there was no airplanes, there was nothing. And on the top of that, there's blood between him and Pharaoh. Because Sayyidina Musa, he killed a man from the Ali Pharaoh. When he pushed him, he died. That's why he ran away from Egypt. But what did he say? Anybody know what he said? Sayyidina Musa said?
He asked Allah to give him a messenger from among his family and his brother, so he could help him because he had a speech defect and he was afraid that he might not manage on his own. So
But before he asked him for his brother, what did he ask him for? Did he say, let me think, let me talk to my family, let ask my mother? Because at that time he was married, by the way. He was married. He said, let me consult with my wife. Let me see if I have enough money to do the job or not. What did he say? قَالَ رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي. Let me like the job. وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْري. Make me successful in doing the job. وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِسَانِي يَفْقَهُ قَوْلِي. And untie my tongue so I can be eloquent in delivering the message. Now, this is the personal preparation. He wants God to make him like his job. He wants him to be successful in his job. And want to have all the physical and personal resources to deliver the job. Now, he found out the job takes a little bit more than that. And he said, oh God, let me have a wazir of my family. Who? My brother. Why? Ushdid bihi azri. Support me. I want to, his main focus, his priority is to do a good job. Not to wiggle out of the job. Not to find an excuse not to do the job. Ushdid bihi azri. His support, he back me up. وأشركه في أمري. It's a job, it's a humongous job. I need to consult with people. I need to discuss how we can do the job the best way. كي نسبحك كثيرا. So we can do a good job for you. Can you imagine if Ahmed, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ahmed, not only going to be, you are the messenger. You have a brother? What's his name? Tundirmi is Harun. What's his name? Ibrahim. Well, even higher than even Ibrahim, he's not going to tell him, hey man, let's go. I want to just, because this is the only time that the brother, because the other two brothers that we know from the beginning of creation, what happened to them?
Kill each other.
He killed each other. He killed his brother. For what? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted his offer and he didn't accept his offer. But here is a brother. The reason is he wants to do a good job. So he's trying to find out what the job needs to be done. How I can do a better job for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the time in Egypt, you know what? In the time in Egypt, you discovered just recently, in the last century, that every pharaoh who comes in power destroys the temples of the pharaoh before him. And they found out that the pharaoh, they used the temple ruins as foundation for the new temple. Even one of the pharaohs, which turns out to be a woman, when the engineer who designed the temple for her just chisel his name in a little corner nobody can see, she killed him. But here is Musa alayhi salam. When he was given a job which is by far a tough job, by far a risky job, by far it's hardship, no ifs, no buts. He asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make me like my job. Make my way easy and make me successful in my job. Let me be eloquent in presenting my job. Give me my brother to support me so we can consult with each other so we can do a good job for you. And that's the way. But you know something? Did anybody teach us this ayah this way? Or they told us when you go to an exam, read this ayah. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي, so you can do well in the exam. But after the exam, it doesn't make a difference. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, اذهبا إلى فرعون إنني معكما. I'm with you guys. I'm going to hear and see everything. Can you imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us a job and will let us down? Do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us a job and we'll do our best and then we're going to see difficulties and He's going to back off and run away from us? It's not. He's going to be there with us. He sees everything. He knows everything. He hears everything. And He told us, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. لا يكلف الله. He will never ask us to do anything beyond our capabilities. Let's take one of the pillars of Islam, Salah. If we are healthy, we can stand up and go down and do ruku and sujood. If we are not that healthy, we sit down. Not that healthy, we can lay down. Not that healthy, we can move our eyelashes. Isn't it? Healthy, fast. Not healthy today, make it when you are healthy. Permanently unhealthy, pay somebody for iftar. You cannot do it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ghafur rahim. Zakah, you don't have the money, you don't have to pay. Hajj, if you are not physically capable, financially capable, you don't do it. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. He will never ask us to do anything beyond our capabilities. And He is there for us. And that's why a lot of times we say, if I go and pray Isha in the Jama'ah, oh, it's still gonna go to the Medina Center and we'll come back and I have exam tomorrow. Isn't that many times happened to us? Going to pray Fajr. Anybody know the value of praying Fajr in Jama'ah? Rasul said, if you pray Fajr in Jama'ah as if you have stood the half of the night. And if you pray Isha in Jama'ah as if you stood the other half of the night. This means if I pray Isha and Fajr only in Jama'ah, in the masjid, as if I have stood up the whole night. The whole night. The whole night. People do not know. You remember I talked to you once before about barakah. Anybody knows what the definition of barakah is? Barakah. Barakah. Anybody knows what barakah is?
Blessing. Blessing.
It's a blessing, but give it to me in a materialistic way, in a tangible way.
Like credit? Credit?
Credit?
Like the credit you get for doing something.
Credit for doing something?
Points scored or something like that.
Okay. Anybody can elaborate on that?
Well, like interest. Well.
See, it must be another accountant there. Huh? I'm just kidding. Barakah is really. Anybody remember the time that Abu Huraira brought some milk to Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? And he said, drink, and he said, I drank as much as I can. Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam drank as much as he can, and everybody around drank as much as he can, and there was left over milk. There's barakah. Let me tell you, a friend of mine, I consider him to be one of my mentors. He was telling me he used to be in prison in Egypt in the 50s and the 60s. And he said, he's from Alexandria. And Alexandria is a sea port. So he said, his friends in the prison said, inshallah, when we get out of the prison and we come and visit you, we want to have a seafood dinner. So he was telling me that one of his friends, he told him that he's coming to Alexandria. So he said, I went to the market. I'm talking about now, this is the late 60s. There was no fish and chip or Long John takeout. There was no there was no takeouts or drive-through or drive-by or drive-in or drive-out. If you want to have fish, you have to go to the market, you get the fish, and you clean the fish, and you cook the fish. So he said he is coming with his wife, and he said, I with my wife. So my wife prepared dinner for 4, and as soon as we sat down to eat, the door knocked. What happened? Another friend of theirs from the present time, he was passing by with his wife, and said, let's see the chef. Okay, tfaddal, come in. And he said, as soon as we sat to eat, another couple knocked the door. And his wife, like every other wife, she took him to the kitchen for assembly. She gathered him to the kitchen on the double. What are we going to do? He said, what do you want us to do? He said, go and get some more fish. He said, by the time I go and get fish, and I clean it, and you cook it, and whatever, it's going to be tomorrow. What are we going to do? He said, we have no choice. We just have to sit down and eat. He said, wallahi, wallahi, wallahi. We all ate as much as we can, and there was left food on the table that feeds us again. This is the barakah. This is the barakah. Because the barakah is, you have 24 hours like everybody else. But you do in your 24 hours that other people can do in 24 days, not 24 hours. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put barakah in your time. Because anytime we do anything for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I can assure you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put in our barakah in every minute that we spend the rest of our day. When you go and pray Fajr in Jama'ah, sisters, you don't need makeup, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have nur coming out of your face. And you're going to see the barakah throughout your day. You may be cranky, you may be sleepy because we are not used to get up and pray Fajr on time in the masjid. But they're going to be barakah in the day. Because let's face it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the mathematical model for it. He said, you give me 1, I give you 10, to 100, to 70, and I can give you more. Right? Right? So every hour I give it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, guess what? He's at least going to give me 10 hours. At least I'm going to get 10 hours from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So any hour that I put it in a day for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, either by praying, either by helping others, either by doing da'wah, is going to be given to me at least 10 hours. But you know, the different parts, the different duties give higher credit. You were talking about credit, right?
Yeah.
There are weighted credit. Weighted credit. Here is Sahaba are doing i'tikaf in Ramadan. And somebody came and asked one of the Sahaba, I think it's Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said he needs help. So he left the masjid and went to help him. So when i'tikaf finished, they went to Rasulullah and said, he broke his i'tikaf, right? Because that's the only thing we're going to fight about it. This is the only thing we're going to argue about it. He broke his i'tikaf. His beard is that long, or his beard is not that long. He did this or that, and he did put his hand there. That's what we're going to spend our time. So Rasulullah asked him, why did you break your i'tikaf? He said, well, my friend needed something and I went with him. And Rasulullah says, walking to help your friend, not knowing if you're going to be successful or not. Not knowing. As if you have done i'tikaf in my masjid for 10 years. In his masjid for 10 years. And another hadith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make the distance for us far away from Jahannam, like east from west. So can you imagine just trying to help a friend, trying to help a human being? Somebody has a problem, either financial problem, or academic problem, or a personal problem, or whatever problem. And you take the few minutes, only try to help, not knowing if you're going to know, you're going to do it, you're going to succeed or not. As if you have done i'tikaf in the Masjid al-Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam for 10 years. And that's where we have to come in, to humanity at large and to Muslims in particular. We are the messenger of the messenger. I don't care if there is 1.2 billion Muslims. As far as I'm concerned, I'm the only Muslims around. And I'm the only Muslim to be held accountable. I'm the only Muslim who's going to be responsible. And I'm the only one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask me if somebody didn't eat, if anybody has no clothes, if somebody was killed, if somebody had an overdose of drugs, if anybody was unjustly put in jail. I'm going to be asked about it. Where did I get that from? Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, the Amir al-Mu'mineen in Medina, and it's crying. Why are you crying, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen? Because he's afraid Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold him accountable. For what? Because he bombarded, carpet bombed somebody, put somebody in jail, killed somebody? No. He said, I'm afraid that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold him accountable for not paving the road in Iraq. For human beings, no. For an animal to trip over a stone or a rock and break its leg. Can you imagine the feel of responsibility? The conscience that he has? He's afraid that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold him responsible for not paving the road for an animal in Iraq. When they have this feeling, when they have this commitment, when they have this passion, when they have this love, when they have this commitment, when they have this submission to God, God Almighty give them the world and heaven. When people denied, when people shrugged the responsibility, when people thought that the sheikh is going to do it, mom is going to do it, dad is going to do it, my uncle is going to do it, this is going to do it, what happened is, this is the chaos that the world has. So here's the issue in front of every one of us. From now on, we have to think about ourselves not as Ahmed, Muhammad, and Ali. No, I am Ahmed, the messenger of the messengers. I have been chosen to be the messenger of the messenger, and nobody else. If somebody else has been chosen, then we'll work together to do a better job, like Musa alayhi salam with Harun, his brother, did a better job. But every night, every morning, every second of my life, I'm going to have to feel about what's going on around me. I have to feel the pain of everybody. I have to feel the hunger of everybody. I have to feel the happiness of everybody. I have to feel the responsibility for everybody. I have to feel the care that I have to care about everybody. And everything else will come in place. Everything will come. But unfortunately, we worried about everything except that. But when we worry about that, the whole world will come down to our feet, under our feet. And that's exactly what Rasul ﷺ told his family. He said, you think you are in charge of Mecca and Kaaba, and no, I'm giving you the whole world on a platter of silver, of platinum. I'm giving you the whole world. You're going to be the kings of the world. So don't think micro, think mega. So from now on, we are the messengers of the messengers. But we have to be prepared mentally and intellectually and spiritually and physically. And with this, we will stop right here, right?
Yes.
Yes? And we'll get you physically prepared by feeding you so you can be healthy to the rest of the night. And the next session, inshallah, we want to have workshops. We want to break into groups, and everyone will take a topic and discuss among yourselves and come up with resolutions. What we're going to do a good job as the messengers of the messenger. How we're going to do the job. What is the job? And what do I need to prepare for the job? Exactly like you went to college, you know what you want to be. You look for the college that is going to get you what you